here we are recording. It's Saturday in New Zealand, the 10th of October in the evening, and this is my Zoom in Touch wisdom talks, and I've got Mark Walsh, the man of the moment, here from the UK in Brighton, who's the founder of the Embodied Conference that's coming up in 4 days and 7 hours or something.
4 days. Oh my God, you're looking at the clock. Nice to see you again, Paul. I'm just waking up here, but I've got my coffee. I think we're all good.
Well, I've just got my coffee and I'm going to sleep soon, but I'm waking up for this call. We had contact back in February this year, and the world was really different then. But anyway, Mark, welcome. Nice to see you. I've been looking through some stuff about you and what you do, and your training is just like, it's just massive in terms of the embodiment world. And you've also wrote some stuff up on the Facebook page about what is true and what is not true. We might have time to go through that list as well, because we know and
read them out.
Well, there's loads of them. I reckon
that'll be fun.
Yeah, but that's on the Facebook page. So, welcome, Mark, again. Full on.
Good to be here. I think pretty intense right now. 12,500 people signed up for the conference yesterday, which brought us to I don't know, something like 350,000, something like that.
Yeah, I've actually got the counter on here. So we'll have a look at this. This will be interesting. We're on 347,089 now, and it's 8:34. So we'll just have a little look at that when we're done.
You know, Saturday mornings are not the best time for sign-ups, but there'll probably be a few more hundred people signed up by the time we've done the interview in half an hour. So yeah, I mean, it's bringing together just a massive lineup of very awesome speakers. Free to everyone live, so people sign up for it. It's free live and free for 48 hours. So you know, for me it was a wonderful thing to put together. We've been working very hard on it. It's the second time around, much bigger than the first time. Obviously in COVID times, people have learned how to use Zoom, and there's a lot of people sitting at home, so you know, in some ways the timing's quite good for people. And it's a hell of a leadership challenge too, to be leading a team of 50 people as we go into this.
Yeah, it's massive. It's huge. And certainly the times were very different when we spoke pre-COVID, and things started to get a lot busier just over the last 6 months. Last 2 or 3 months, things seem to have got quite hectic. What's been the highlight for you? There must have been some really cool stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm just meeting all sorts of awesome people. So, you know, I talked to Vladimir Vasiliev, who's like one of the founders of Systema, the other day. I interviewed Joseph Goldstein, who's a senior meditator, and Sharon Salzberg. You know, that was an honor. These are people whose books I've read, who I've always looked up to. Stephen Porges gives me private advice sometimes, interviewing Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen. It was kind of fun when Alanis Morissette signed up. You know, I used to listen to her as a teenager, so that was kind of fun, you know. And John Kabat-Zinn's another person who's come in recently. Gabon Mate is well known. I mean, after the first one, I got to meet Ken Wilber, which was pretty cool. And learning, which is really what I'm all about. I mean, I'm not really a conference marketeer. Fundamentally, I'm an embodiment teacher. So to speak to the sort of other top people in the field is, you know, it's really very cool. And we've also done a training program for the team over the last month, where we've been doing meditation and various kinds of movement and exercise, and doing that together as a team has been pretty cool too.
Fantastic. Yeah. And you've got a very awesome team, I know, that are supporting you, because there's going to be, what do you reckon, 400,000 people maybe?
Well, that will be minimum 400,000 on sign up. It could sort of really take off. Sometimes you'll see with conferences, they actually get 50% of the sign ups in the last 5 days. Whoa. So we've seen that pattern before. So if that were to happen here, we'd be on 1 million. Right. I think we'll definitely be at 500,000 by the end of the conference, because people will tell their friends, and, you know, it will gather momentum. Yeah. So yeah, you know, it's some of the affiliate, you know, people who are sending out their emails are just doing it on Monday and Tuesday. So we will We will see, but we'll be comfortably at 400,000, which is, smashes the record. I think the previous record was half of that.
Fantastic. And there's over 1,200 presenters.
There's about 1,000 presenters.
About 1,000 presenters. Yeah, fantastic. It starts on the 14th of October to the 25th. Starts at 4 o'clock your time, I think, in the UK, something like that. And then
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, something like that. Yeah, I think 4 o'clock. Yeah.
And then basically it's every other hour. There's there are 10 different conference rooms. Do you want to talk about the conference rooms?
Yeah, so we've got a keynote stage and then 10 different, we call them channels. And you could just look at it like the best ever TV, for 10, 12 days. So it's like, there's the yoga one, there's the trauma one, there's the dance one, the martial arts one. I could go on. It depends what you're interested in. And I think some people will just kind of pick a channel and they'll say, okay, I just want to watch the keynotes on the big stage, or, I just want to watch, movement and anatomy, or ecology, for example. There's a whole thing on embodiment and ecology. Other people, they may, I'm a bit interested in coaching and a bit interested in leadership and a bit interested in meditation. So they might skip around. And we've got this very cool computer system, which was purpose built, because the early feedback we had was like, this is going to be too huge. How will I find what I want? So I phoned up some Israeli friends of mine, and we made they made a very clever computer system. So you can pick something athletic or non-athletic or intellectual or emotionally challenging. There's different tags, like hashtags. So you can, like anything these days on the internet, you can find exactly what you want rather than just be drowning in it.
Yeah, fantastic. And how do you recommend that people do one channel to start off with, and then later on, if they're keen, can you buy another channel, or is the next step up buying the whole package?
Yeah, I mean, we sell the recordings. So if people want to digest it, the best thing to do is buy the recordings. They're not that expensive, and it means you've got it for a lifetime. I think of it like a university library. It's like access to a university library for the rest of your life. Yeah. You can just pick what you want. And as I said, people can either buy just the keynotes, it's cheapest, one channel, and then after that, it's the step up is the whole thing. It doesn't really make sense to buy two channels, like in terms of the economics of it. I mean, some people, they're asking, well, can I have one from here and one from there? I'm just like, look, just buy the whole thing. It supports us. Yeah. I'm basically £1 million in debt right now.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping people buy the recordings, but given the quality and the quantity, I think people will, because and also just, as I said, the structure, how it's laid out in this very findable way. And we've got notes for every single session. You could skip through to the actual bits where there's practices. We have tutorial groups. We have audio only, so people can listen to it while just walking along or whatever. Yeah. It's all there. So I think people will look at it and go, wow, this is actually the sort of the university I never had, is kind of how I think about it. And so that's what I recommend. Or if people just have a passing interest, just turn up for free, do a couple of keynotes, enjoy it, no problem. Like, that's okay too. You know what I mean? Like, I think people like me who are super geeks should definitely buy it. People who are maybe just interested in one topic and a few trainers, again, you could turn up, you could just watch, yoga, and it's like, maybe there's just 10 teachers on yoga that you're interested in. You could watch Tara Jadel or whoever it is. So, so it's really open for different kinds of people to use it in different ways. And I think some people will just use it as like their TV. They'll just flick through, when they're off work or when they're having breakfast, they'll just turn it on and see what's going on,
Yeah. And you can still watch them for free for 48 hours after each recording. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. We didn't want to penalize people if they had to go to work or look after their kids or whatever. So that way, if you're poor and there's something you really want to see, you've got 2 days, and most people can find an hour within 2 days. So the idea there is, like, if there's something you're desperate to see and you really can't afford to buy, no problem, you got 2 days.
Yeah. And you've got any advice for people about just being on screen for so long?
Yeah, we've got a couple of videos on self-care, and we've seen this over the conference, that people can go remarkably deep in Zoom, more deep than people originally thought. I would say do 3 or 4 max a day. Okay. Like, we see some people have said, I'm taking time off work, I've got a babysitter, they're going to binge it. And I'm like, you might want to go easy on that, both for the screen time, but also for the practice. It's like, you can go quite deep.
Yeah. Because there'll be a lot of talking, but there'll be a lot of actual doing stuff for embodiment. and having that. I mean, there's a massive array of people and different things, something to suit everyone. And I know that we're all different, things that we like, the things that people that turn us on, all that kind of stuff. There's so much for everybody out there.
Yeah, and you can mix it up as well. So what you can do is you can say, right, I'm going to listen to that talk while doing the washing up. Fine, you know, cooking my dinner. And that one, I'm actually going to get my yoga clothes on and actually do some exercise for, you know. So it's like, and they're labeled like movement, no movement, intellectual, emotional. So if you have a really emotional one and it's like really full on and you're in tears and it's like, well, breakthrough, don't do another one like that. Just maybe just do a talky one and listen to some interview or some funny, you know, me having fun on some panel, you know what I mean? Like there's lots of stuff there. So yeah, I think people need to pick what's wise for them. And as I said, the system, you literally just click on little boxes and it brings up the thing you need. And same with time zones, like it knows you're in New Zealand. You know, you go on there, it knows you're in New Zealand. You can change that if it gets it wrong. And you can say, okay, what's lunchtime, New Zealand time? And it will just tell you what's on.
Yeah, yeah. Fantastic. So it's 24/7 basically, isn't it?
Pretty much. I mean, there's a talk every 2 hours, and then in between, we recommend people do the coffee break, which is where you can meet other people from around the world in a Zoom room, and then take a little break.
Cool.
So we've tried doing it literally 24 hours before. It's possible. The problem is people just get overwhelmed. Yeah. So this break means if someone's a bit, you know, 5 minutes late starting, there's a bit of wiggle room. So it's pretty much like on the hour, and it'll be even hours throughout the day.
Fantastic. And the coffee, the coffee rooms, are they available? Will the coffee rooms be related to each of the conference rooms, or are the coffee rooms for anybody who might be interested in chatting with other
where
people?
All the teachers are, so you can hang out with the other teachers and meet the other teachers.
Oh, cool. That's nice.
To a Zoom room. But it's actually really clever. It will more likely to put you in a room with people you've met before. Right. So like you end up getting to know a group of people, which is really valuable. And also we found that people just need to talk about stuff. They need to process, because you can't do breakout rooms with Zoom on webinar, which is the format for sort of big numbers. Yeah. So this enables people to just have a chat about it and meet people afterwards, you know.
Fantastic. That's nice. And it's good for the teachers to meet up as well, because often they don't have that opportunity as well, which is really nice.
Yeah. So I think with the teachers, like I've taught at face-to-face conferences many times, and one of the nicer things is meeting the other presenters, you know. So we just put that in as a bonus. The presenters are all doing it for free. They can get, you know, affiliate sales on the recordings, but you know, they're doing it for free. So I wanted to give them something of value, and actually that's really a lot of value for people to be able to go to that green room. Yeah,
and to be part of this this big movement. I bet you didn't realize that it was going to be as important as it is in relationship to the traumas that are going on in the world in terms of COVID and lockdown. I mean, this is like, you couldn't have timed it better, really, could you?
Yeah, you know, it's a conspiracy. You know, I went to China and ate a bat. No, I mean, 2 years ago, no one knew what Zoom was. Yes. This year it's a verb. You know, I'll Zoom you. You know. Yeah. So I think that's helped us. I obviously don't wish ill health on anyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And while people are at home, why not learn something amazing? Why not see some amazing speakers? Yeah. You know, why not be able to do some classes? I've been doing qigong classes and yoga classes, you know, at home. So I kind of feel like, it's a great service to people. And it's also quite a difficult time to lead in, because a lot of people are frazzled. A lot of people are, their window of tolerance is really quite small, and they've got into this sort of, the people very easily go into fight flight. Yeah. And we do see that with some of the politics, sometimes comments, sometimes staff members kind of exhausted or getting agitated. You know, like my job as a leader really has been to keep slightly more calm than my staff. Yeah. And I mean, given what are we, 4 days out now, I feel pretty good. Like I'm a bit stressed, but I'm relatively chill. So basically now it's the easy part. We've got a computer system that works. As long as the presenters turn up and the hosts turn up, and if people turn up, enough people will buy it. And it's not really anything left to do. It's just chill, really. So I'm sure there'll be some small emergencies and no shows and things like this, but really I feel pretty relaxed with it.
Yeah, and the small little emergencies, that's just part of the package, really, isn't it? It's
the computer system will go down at some point. Of course it will. Of course it will. Over 12 days. You know, one presenter will get their time zone wrong and not show up. You know, but we've got contingencies. It's okay.
yeah, good. So I know your life's really full on. What are you doing to look after yourself during? Because it's
yeah, well, I just had a blowjob from a beautiful woman, so I mean that helps. I mean, I go for walks, barefoot walking. I swim in the sea. I meditate every day.
yes,
I exercise in the countryside. I have coaching, massage, mentoring, and therapy every 2 days.
wow,
So, like, pretty much every day, I have an hour-long support call,
yes,
which is tremendously useful because so much goes on in my like 12, 15-hour day that at the end of the day, I walk along the seafront. I love the sea here in Brighton. It's nighttime, the waves are crashing, and wind's in my hair, cold wind. I'm like, I just breathe, and I talk to my coach, and I just talk through everything that happened that day.
yeah, fantastic.
You know, and last night I just got massages every few days, and I've got a great team as well. So you know, we meditate together in the mornings, we exercise together. Doing, you know, having a group of people who have a shared purpose, I think, is quite important.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. What would you? One of the things that I do ask when I do my Zoom in Touch wisdom talks is for you to offer something to people, just the most simplest and maybe the most profound thing that you could offer now.
Just that, Paul. Okay. So, I mean, the most simplest thing you can do is just spend a moment with your body. It's the simplest and most profound thing is to come back home to the body, is to tune in and say, how am I doing? And just that process of kindly coming home, you know, body-based mindfulness will lead to a digestion of whatever shit you've got going on. You know, I can give techniques like centering as a fantastic technique, barefoot walking, you know, I can offer breathing techniques. This is all great, but the most fundamental is just coming home and just going, how you doing, buddy? You know? And I do that a few times a day, and then I, you know, do it more formally when I sit.
Yeah.
So that's what's keeping me sane.
Yeah. And being kind to yourself.
Yeah, kind awareness. So for me, you know, mindfulness as a word, you know, lacks kindness aspect, which is really actually inherent in the Buddhist concept. So, you know, mind sounds a little bit cognitive in our language, you know, but from the actual translation, something like there's that sort of gentle coming home. I'm able to go, oh, okay, maybe I'm being a bit harsh to this employee. Oh, okay, there's a really creative idea that I hadn't thought about that's going to save me a load of money. Like, oh, okay, there's something I need to work with. You know, like stuff just comes up naturally and settles naturally.
Yeah, good, fantastic. I'm going to go. Can I go? I'm going to go back to your what's true and not true.
Go for it.
So, was your mum a nun?
She was for 7 years as a novice nun.
Wow.
And then she had to decide whether to be a nun for life, and she decided not to, and she went to university and she met my dad.
Oh, cool. Okay. Ancestors include freedom fighters and the first female doctor in Ireland.
True.
True. You spent time in jail.
No, I've never been to jail. That's not one on the
list.
Oh,
that's right. That's your dad spent time in jail. He was protesting.
Oh, my dad spent a lot of time in jail, yeah, for protesting South African cricket with Jack Straw, actually, who's a famous politician in the UK.
All right, cool. Were you born in a mental hospital in Liverpool?
No, I was born in Liverpool, but not in a mental hospital. That's the only one that's not true.
I thought it was Barack Obama that you had as private email, but you obviously had. You swam a mile when you were 6. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Got very high IQ.
I did. I don't know about anymore. I probably like had it punched away in martial arts and
your use of drugs.
Well, when I was young, I certainly had a high IQ.
Yeah. ADHD. So ADHD. That's cool. We've all got that, haven't we? Most of us. And you've just taught everywhere. You've taught around the world. You taught
50 countries,
thousands of children.
At least 50,000 children.
Fantastic. And you've worked in lots of different war zones and in places that there's a lot of tension.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to Afghanistan. I taught soldiers in Sierra Leone. That was pretty hardcore. I lived in Ethiopia. I lived in the slums of Brazil. I met my wife as my interpreter in the war in the Ukraine. And, I've been all over. Like, I'll take any job that's interesting.
Fantastic.
Like, I just like learning about learning. So if someone says, do you want to work with policemen? And I've never worked with policemen before. I was like, yeah, sure. Someone says, do you want to work with medical receptionists? There's 200 of them in a room. I'll be like, yeah, sure. So like, I'll just work with whoever that I haven't worked with before. Cause it's like, I'm interested in humanity, and you can't learn about humanity if you just work with like middle-class yoga mums, like you've got to spread it around a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to being part of the conference. I think I'm on the 21st of October.
You're super welcome, sir. And we do have this New Zealand connection. So Matthew is one of our track managers from the coaching track. He's in New Zealand.
Yes.
And, I like New Zealand a lot. And it's often a bit off the map, literally, So we've really decided to include New Zealand as well as Australia, Singapore. A lot of conferences are just sort of 10 different Americans, and people think diversity is Americans of different color. And we just were like, no, we want Russians, we want East Africans, we want people from all over the world with different points of view. Yes. And, you guys cover the night shift nicely, so that's good.
Fantastic. Yeah, good. So the counter is just going to do real quick maths. Then just nearly 300 more people since we've been chatting 20 minutes.
In the last 20 minutes, 300 people. So what's that? It's just under, this is a slow time because it's early Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Just seen it last night, Friday night. It's just like literally like every second. So what's that, about 1,000 an hour?
Yes.
So we'll probably do 20,000 today then. Whoa, okay, that's above prediction. That's good. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. I mean, it has to be big. There's some economies of scale here, Like we spent £140,000 on the translation. It's in 9 languages. Fantastic. We spent £50,000 on the computer system. My staff bill's £100,000. So like there's some economies of scale here. It has to be big, because that way I can pay for everything. Because if 1% of people buy, I'm good. Yeah. So there's a lot in that word if, but generally I feel like this is my life's work, so it sort of doesn't matter anyway. Yeah. This isn't a business venture. This isn't a sane, sustainable business model. This is life purpose stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. And one last comment for people when they're navigating to, or if they need questions, they can go onto the Facebook page, can't they? Ask.
Yeah, Facebook's good. Facebook's lively. It's really civilized as well for Facebook. It's a nice vibe, Yeah. So you can go on the Facebook. There's customer support as well. We have a dedicated Polish customer support team. Fantastic. So you can talk to Elena or Agata or any of the other customer support team girls. They'll just get back to you. And also, every channel has a channel manager. So like, if you're probably under Yoga, you're probably under Mayan and Sarah in the US, mine in the UK. So
I'm under the healing one, Marshall.
So under Tom, with Tom, right? Yeah, and Roma. So basically there's 24-hour day coverage to presenters. There's 24-hour day customer support. We've got 24-hour day tech team. I mean, the whole thing's truly global. I mean, if you look at the staff team, it's like, we've got Israelis and Saudi Arabians collaborating. We've got Serbs and Croats collaborating, Northern and Southern Irish, Americans and Chinese. Like we're the real UN. Cool. So it's a beautiful vision for how life can be, actually.
Yeah. Congratulations, Mark, on where we've got to so far. You've done awesome, epic, awesome. And
thanks, man.
I know you're busy. I'm going to catch up with you after the conference sometime and give you a proper interview, not a rushed one. And
we'll take our time. And you know what? I think a holiday in New Zealand might be in order after this conference.
We've got 20 acres out here, so you're welcome to come here.
Where are you in New Zealand?
Waiheke Island, just an island just 35 minutes off Auckland.
That's it. That's wow. Okay. And are you guys still on lockdown, or are foreigners allowed to visit?
No, not really. We're on level 1, but it's very tame here at the moment. It's just less than, I think it's 8 or 9 days till we have an election, so everything's quite they've softened things a lot for the election.
Okay, well, maybe I'll come visit if you're open afterwards. It's a country I find very beautiful. I like the people and the culture, and a lot of love for it. I can imagine when the apocalypse happens, I might well move to New Zealand. Buy a bunker next to Elon Musk's or whatever. So
definitely that's the idea.
Pleasure, man. We'll talk more when this all calms down.
Yeah, take care.
Take it easy. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.